we are not against mentor companies, like at all. Like we all have business mentors ourselves. Like at Lasso, we have a business mentor and we run paid ads. It's the problem that mentor companies are saying that you don't need paid ads and you're not realizing the opportunity cost. And we see it all the time. And I show it all the time just to our leadership team. A gym turns off their ads. They go from 50 to 60 leads down to maybe 10, maybe 15 a month. It could be because, and this is a good segue where we're going, but they think the mentor company says they try to draw a straight line between leads and signups, and that's just not the way a world works.
You're an inspiration to our entire organization.
Welcome to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast. We're going to be talking the done-for-you marketing and sales strategies proven to work with boutique fitness gyms to increase quality lead flow and grow your revenue. Don't try to be a professional marketer and waste tons of money. Let the experts at Lasso do it for you. And now, here are your hosts, Blake Ruff and Sherman Merritt.
What's up, everybody? This is Blake here. I got Tommy here. And today we're here probably to get canceled on if there's a thing. I don't know if there's a cancel culture against gym mentors and marketing company. If there is, we'll be in it maybe after this, or it could go twofold and people listen to this can actually hear the truth. Our whole point today is, a lot of mentor companies or certain mentor companies have been just feeding this lie without data of you can do all of this without marketing. You only need to do, organic, and this is how you do it. But the truth is we have great gyms, and I would say, gyms that come to us can afford minimum of $1,500 to $2,000 extra a month. So they're not in a horrible spot. They're not closing down next week. So they can afford it. And we've done the data of how many average clients they're getting. And then we can just back into pure data of what the churn is. So me and Tommy are going to just jam out today. This could be a complete rant. I don't know if it's going to go for 2 hours, 5 minutes, 20 minutes. You may enjoy this. Truthfully, after our whole goal of this is not to, how do I say this? Well, I'm trying to be politically correct. We're not here to put down a bunch of people. We're here to actually help you guys because we see gym owners struggling. And we see them getting crushed by all the new concepts and the things that look amazing, and they are amazing. But the moral of the story is everybody wants all these I want great leads. I want people making high income. But you're getting left behind by the Orange Theories, the Yards, the Metabolics, the X4s, because they do look professional, and people with high income earners want to go to a nice place. And when you're left behind and you're not able to grow to update your facility to compete, you keep being fed this lie of like, just work on your coaching and that will grow your gym. And the truth is it doesn't. It just plainly doesn't. So me and Tommy, I'm going to open this up, and then wherever it goes, guys. So this is us just being honest, being truthful. Everything we say in here is data proven. What we harp to our clients and what you should always do is follow the data. You should always make business decisions on what the numbers say, because if you're basing it off feelings and just general things, you should be asking your mentor company for data. You should be asking them for, hey, show me where this has worked. There's one of the largest mentoring companies, Two Brain, on a podcast said the most successful gyms are ones that run paid marketing and they have over 1,000 clients in their ecosystem. So this is stuff that we know that's proven. Push Press put out a post about the top gyms, top 10% do what, Tommy? Over what percent? Or
24,000. 24,000.
Yeah. Which almost all of our clients do that. So they're in the top 10% of a 5,000 gyms within that ecosystem. So we're going to start here. The one thing, so I did some research this morning, went through tons of gyms that signed up with us. And because the one big thing we hear all the time is you can do it organically. Well, to back into what gyms that are, and these gyms, like I said, are doing decent. They can afford $2,000 a month extra to pay for marketing. On an average, they got 4.5 new signups a month before they started with us. So 4.5. So we'll take that. I'll just do this. So what did they do after when they do paid marketing? A minimum of 5 extra. So 10, because we know that we're going to get a minimum of 50 leads. We know there's a 10% conversion, 5 extra. So they're probably getting 9.5 to 10 a month. So Tommy, I'll open up with that. Where do you want to go?
Yeah. So before I just start jumping into my thoughts on this, guys, I understand that I have a bias in which I work for a marketing company, but Blake would probably tell you, right? Like, we're not like murdering it here where I just get paid a gross amount of money. It's like, I like helping people. And a lot of I've been pinned in the past with being either angry or rude about my opinions. And that typically comes from the fact that I've struggled a lot as a business owner. So when I see gym owners getting fed stuff that I know looking into the future is not going to best serve them, that's where my passion comes from. But I understand I have a bias, so take this with a grain of salt. And I'm just going to speak from experience. I'm going to speak from data, and I'm going to speak from some of the struggles that I've been through as well. I think the big thing that we always have to consider when we're giving advice is it needs to be through the lens of where's the business owner at now and what's the easiest lever for them to pull based on the constraints of time and money. Okay. So I understand that paid marketing is not going to work all the time for all businesses in all stages of business. Okay. But I do think that it becomes more and more important once you get clarity on where you're trying to take your business and where you want, and like how fast you want to grow. Okay. There's a reason why the top franchises are outperforming the average CrossFit gym, just average gyms in general. It's not because it's a better product. You guys will always hear me say that. It's not. At the end of the day, most of the gyms that we work with will produce better fitness in individuals most of the time. But why are they still getting beat? Why is the average F45 franchise doing 33% better than the top 10% of independent gyms, whether it's CrossFit or whatever, right? It's not because it's a better product. Okay. So just think about that context as we get more and more into this. Okay. Blake, where do you want to start specifically, just so we can really dig into?
I think let's dive into, I think the biggest thing we hear is like, you could just do organic, and let's dive into like you said, yes, we agree. If you're probably doing under $10,000, you probably don't need paid marketing yet, right? You need to just hustle and grow. But where does that, you can sign up 4 or 5 new members a month and you can keep growing. Like, where does that fall flat? And honestly, it's very simple of like where churn, right? Like where your churn and your organic growth, like where those meet. And I would say the other thing of like, you only need 3 new members a month. Like, hey, that's what, let's say average gym. And most average gyms probably aren't charging $200 a month either. But let's say they are. That's, $600 over the course of a year. That you still aren't. I always think about, you probably got to hire new coaches. You're paying more money. You have to buy probably new software, upgrade things. You still don't, 3 new members a month for a gym that's trying to grow and keep up doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. Okay. So perfect. Let's start there. So anyone who's been in business for a while knows that, like, yes, while we're on the front end side of marketing and sales, the real long-term growth in your gym will come from retention. Okay. Like just plugging all of the holes in your bucket before we fill it up with more stuff. Okay. Now, in the gym industry, depending on how competitive the market is, what type of market you're in, whatever, you're typically going to land between 3 and 5% churn month over month as a really good place to aim for with your business. Now, to Blake's point, easiest way to think about what your theoretical max capacity is based on a 3 to 5% churn. If you get, I don't know, Blake, you said the average has been 4 organic
4.5.
across our 4.5. Let's just use 5. So if you're a gym and you're organically getting 5 new clients a month, and let's just say your churn is excellent between 3 and 5%, your gym is naturally going to grow to a place of somewhere between 100 to 150 members. Theoretically, that's your max capacity. Okay. Because you're going to get to this place where if we get to 150 and we have 3% churn, the 5 that you lose are going to be replaced by the 5 you bring in. And now we're at max capacity, right?
And that's the best gyms at 3%, right?
And that's the best gyms. That's right.
So, yeah. So usually, I mean, and if you're in a town that like is transient, I mean, there's a lot like Houston, right? Or wherever, like downtown, it's probably going to be 5%. And so, yeah,
right.
You're probably never going to grow past. I mean, 3%, I look at it as like, there's not tons of people that are at 3. So, you know, that's a tough thing. And yeah, and I'd say if you're listening to this, you should know your churn. But if it's 5%, it's really easy. If it's 5%, it's 100. If it's 3%, 150. If it's 4%, it's 125.
There you go. And we have data from Two Brain, state of the industry. The average CrossFit gym has 125 to 150 members. They're typically doing about 18,000 revenue. So like we're finding that even the best gyms are naturally landing between this 100 to 150. And when I look at what they're generating on the organic side, even if they have amazing coaching and amazing churn, those are the numbers, right? So then what are the types of businesses, or what does your business look like if you're somewhere between 100 to 150 members? You're still the main person on the floor. Maybe you've been able to hire maybe one part-time, one full-time coach, maybe, right? You're typically doing, somewhere between $18,000 to $25,000 per month in revenue. Like that's your business. And when we see the data from Two Brain and we match it with data from Push Press to say, hey, if you're making more than 24, that's the top 10%. Those numbers are starting to jive that better coaching and controlling churn isn't the problem across all these gyms. Is there always opportunities to get better? 100%. But if I have Push Press telling me the same thing that Two Brain's telling me, the same thing that Simple Math is telling me, that's where, like, again, I'm coming into this with a bias, but now I can start to say, hey, but there's a lot of data and information out there to say, I get why gyms are getting stuck at this point. Let me pause there, Blake. Go ahead and plug in anything I missed.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's simple. Like, there's no way past the 100 to 150 unless you do something different. Because, and I'll even say this, like, based on when you get to 1 to 150, you are always wondering where the leads and signups are going to come from. It's not predictable. And if you go to sell your business and go, like, you have to show that, like, hey, this is our growth potential. And if you're stagnant, like, and I'll even say this, most people, and this isn't a plug, this is just the truth. Most people we get on a call with, they're like, I have been at the same revenue or decreasing for the last 6 months to 1 year. And people are still talking about COVID. It's insane. Yeah. COVID was forever ago. It was like 5 years ago. I think, yeah. And so it's the same story over and over because the industry is being fed the same story. You don't need to, like, it's just idiotic to me. When the franchises, so just so you guys know, we work with franchises, they have to spend anywhere from, $2,000 a month to $6,000. So basically 6 to 12K over a three-month period before opening. If those gyms, and we, in the last, I don't know, some of you can correct me if I'm wrong, how many gyms have we helped open over the last 2 years?
It's close to 24 at this point. Yeah.
Okay. And we have helped a lot of gyms, I don't know the specific number, open with over 100 to 120 members. And that is more members than most gyms that have been open for 5 to 8 years, right? Yeah. And they're wondering why they're struggling. But the truth is, I guess my biggest thing is if paid marketing didn't work, franchise wouldn't do it.
That's right.
They'd be putting orange bikes everywhere like Orange Theory does, and that would be it. And they would expect everybody to show up. The truth is they pay to get leads in the door, and they know the conversion rate that not every single person's going to sign up, but they know the data and they follow the numbers. So if your mentor company, and I'm just going to say this bluntly, tells you don't need paid marketing and you're between 100 and 150, the truth is they're scared to lose you as a client because they know it actually works because it's been proven to work. And they don't know how to mentor you past that point where they can, or they simply can't mentor you because they've gotten to the point where you're like, you've created a good system, you've created a good gym, your churn is good, your churn is obviously good, so your coaching is good, you've come to the point, and we have nothing really ever to, like, you can keep working on your business all day, but at some point you have to grow. And you know, like Mark Cuban, like I think back to what he says on Shark Tank, if you're not growing, you're dying. Right.
Yeah.
That's just the truth, because somebody else is going to open up next to you. Some other franchise is going to come in. You're going to lose 30 members day one when they open, and you're going to get crushed, and you're going to keep going downhill unless you start marketing.
Yeah. So a couple things I want to add to that. I want to go back to guys, like, it's not because these franchises are producing a better product. Some of them are absolutely excellent, right? But it's just they're getting more eyeballs on their business faster than you are. So if you think about the stages of your marketing funnel, right, a lot of us assume that most people are problem and solution aware. Most people aren't. Okay, like they may be problem aware, but if they are problem aware and you have these franchises that are getting in front of their eyeballs first, and it generally speaks to their needs, even if it's not as good as what you do, they're going to go in that direction naturally. Like, that's just how it works, right? So that's where they're beating you. It's not necessarily on the product, even though some of them they're getting better. So keep your eyes out for that. But it's just eyeballs on your business faster. That's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is you got mentorship companies like Best Hour of the Day that come up with these are the 7 phases of business growth, and this is when you need to pull these levers. Some of those things are incredibly accurate. I've yet to see any data produced by them that shows that they have reliably gotten their clients through those phases. It sounds great in theory. Would love to see the data as to how well those gyms are actually doing. Based, again, on data from Push Press, our own data, Two Brain, I can back into not too many gyms are getting out of phase 2 in their model. Okay. And better coaching and churn is not going to get you to phase 3, phase 4. Okay. I would love for them to come on our podcast and let's actually have an honest conversation. They are dodging us. So the invite's out there, you guys, if you actually want to come in here and talk facts, I'm more than happy to do it. You also have mentorship companies like Two Brain Business that are like, here are quick plays to generate 30 organic leads, which that's great, but those are one-off situations in which you're able to do that. It's just a single play that you're going to get in 1 month, but it's not a sustainable, predictable way to grow your business. If I look at the top leaderboard of like revenue leaders, whether it's in Push Press, obviously our clients, or on like the Two Brain revenue leaderboard, they all run paid advertising. Okay, outside of like CrossFit expanding in the international market outside of US, that's where all their growth is. So sometimes it's biased that way of like they're just entering new markets. But if you pull that back, all their top US performers are running paid advertising. Okay. So I say this in complete transparency of like, I want us to stop being like so passive aggressive about calling these things out. I think we can have an honest conversation to say, hey, theoretically, I think some of these ideas work, but let's have an honest conversation as to where do they fall apart and where they no longer apply, so we can give great advice to these gym owners who are holding on by a thread and just trying to figure out who to listen to.
Yeah. And I love what you said there, Tommy, because we are not against mentor companies, like at all. Like we all have business mentors ourselves. Like at Lasso, we have a business mentor and we run paid ads. It's the problem that mentor companies are saying that you don't need paid ads and you're not realizing the opportunity cost. And we see it all the time. And I show it all the time just to our leadership team. A gym turns off their ads. They go from 50 to 60 leads down to maybe 10, maybe 15 a month. It could be because, and this is a good segue where we're going, but they think the mentor company says they try to draw a straight line between leads and signups, and that's just not the way the world works. Meta just released, and for the younger audience, and it's happening across the board. And guys, what? I don't get it. Like, why do you think that like a lead is going to do something different than you actually have a buying psychology? Think about the last time that you bought something. Like, just be transparent with you. Like, I just sent Josh something the other day for my son, a rope bat, like this thing I saw online, right? And I sent it to him and he's like, yeah, that's it. But I haven't bought it yet. And so if I go back and buy it, I'm just going to click on the link that I sent it to him and it's not going to attribute it back to the ads. The last thing you bought online that you generally saw first on an ad, did you actually purchase it on the ad and buy it on the ad? Probably 80%, maybe there's some instances, don't get me wrong. If it's probably, especially, and I would even say if something's cheaper, right? Maybe if it's under like $20, you're like, yeah, whatever, I'll buy it and give it a shot, right? But if it's an expensive, like especially service related,
Hmm.
if it's service related, you think about it. You see the ad, you think about it, and then later on, you're like, man, do I need that thing? Yeah, I don't know. And then a pain point comes up. Yeah, I actually really do need that thing. And then you go back on Google, you search for it and buy it. Why in God's green earth do you think a lead for your gym is going to do any different? Why do you attribute it differently? So there's no straight line where not all, I shouldn't say all, that is a blanketed statement. I apologize. A lot of mentor companies are like, well, your leads to conversion based on just your Facebook leads is X%. And well, that CAC is bad. But then you turn off your ads and then they all go away. Why do you think that? Because they actually take extra steps. Because guys, the best leads and the people that are actually, that have good incomes, highly educated, they do the research before they opt in. They go to your website, they go to your social media, because they don't want to waste your time. My time is valuable. Tommy's time, you as a business owner, your time is valuable. Would you opt into something if you went and searched their Instagram and they didn't have it posted for 3 months? You would think they're out of business. If you went to their website and it looked like they created it themselves, you probably wouldn't opt in. So why do you think that is any different? And you should not, and I'm going to say this, you should not believe any mentor company that only looks at leads to sign up directly from marketing to signups, because that is not the way the world works at all.
Yeah, so just to build on that, guys. So like I'm a big like numbers attribution. I want to know where the ROI is. I get it. Okay. And I even listened to a recent podcast with Tim Lyons from the Iron Circle. And he had made some statements about how, Facebook's now just trash and he's moving to Google and all this stuff because of direct attribution. Here's the problem, you guys, to Blake's point. You can't turn marketing attribution into a hard science like physics, like E equals MC squared. We know that's true. It's been around, whatever. We know that. You can't make those types of correlations between how a lead found you and where exactly it came from, right? I always talk about there's 4 different levels to your marketing funnel, and each of these strategies address different parts of the marketing funnel, right? So like if I'm trying to optimize ROAS or return on ad spend, like I'm always trying to do that, but I also understand that like Facebook ads build awareness. It's the biggest way for me to increase my email list, my prospect list. It's still the best. Those people are typically problem unaware, solution unaware. Google ads, they are problem aware, solution unaware. I need to optimize around SEO and AdWords and all that stuff too. Then you get into your organic stuff, what Blake's talking about, your Facebook, your Instagram, your website. It all has to be consistent because that's how we're building trust with people in our brand. And then yes, you have the commitment stage where you're running the bring a friend weeks, the referrals, the react, like it's all part of the same strategy. But if you're trying to tie where specifically somebody came from through that funnel, you're going to get frustrated because the data you're going to get isn't going to give you an accurate depiction of what's actually happening, to Blake's point, in terms of how people are making decisions. They saw my ad. They're not thinking about fitness right now. When they do think about fitness, they're going to Google fitness near me. Oh, my name pops up. Maybe they remembered that ad the first time. Oh, my friend goes there. That's how these things start to play with each other to increase the probability of you getting people to come into your gym. It all works together. Okay. There's a reason why you always say, Blake, Nike, Coca-Cola, they run Facebook, they run ads on the Super Bowl, right? Do they expect to make a ton of money off that? No, but the more that I see it, when I decide to purchase soda or pop, depending on where you're at in the country, guess who I'm going to think about first, right?
Yep.
That's all it is, guys. So,
yep. And, we'll release, I guess this is kind of, we just established a partnership with Franchise X4, and these guys are amazing, smart individuals, right? They are following the data as a company to get sales representatives in place to know exactly how much to spend to open up with 150 members. And they are re-upping their brand to make it for everybody, that you could walk in on day one and get a great workout in. So what I'm getting to is, if you guys if you don't have the funds and aren't growing to evolve your brand to keep up, and I'll let Tommy, because Tommy does a lot more research in this, of like where fitness is going. Like it is going in the direction of chic, cool, innovation, like looking good. And here's the thing, guys, like the garage gym feel just isn't it anymore. Like it's not, yes, you can get them great results to like what Tommy was saying, but at the end of the day, like these people are looking for something that like looks cool, is cool, and they can get results.
Yeah, I mean, and the guys, this isn't to say that all of a sudden you got to look like an F45 or a yard gym. Not saying that at all. Okay, that's it speaks to a different type of consumer. What I found even with my businesses is like it doesn't have to be like Equinox or the the Ritz Carlton. But to Blake's point, we got to get kind of beyond like tin building, horse stall mats. There's dog hair everywhere. Kind of, the barbells are rusted kind of feel. There was a generation of fitness consumers that like that because they came from the Gold's Gym or Curves era of like what they just didn't care. Now that the market is saturated with similar concepts, not the same, similar concepts, but now you walk in and there's air conditioning. It all looks really good. The programming is pretty decent. There's technology integration. Like these are all things that are elevating the entire industry. And so I know recently CrossFit came out with a marketing campaign that leans kind of back into its like 08, 09, 2010 roots, which is, I mean, that's what got Blake and I all jacked up about CrossFit when we were in our 20s and we're like, let's go, right? But what I'm worried about with that marketing campaign is that it is trying to build nostalgia with the OG and fire breathers. Blake, if you and I jammed on like 90s hip hop, 90s music, TRL, like, dude, you and I could go nostalgia train all day, every day. But you and I both know the market moved away from that because consumer preferences changed. So be careful leaning too far into nostalgia as a long-term marketing strategy. You have to be paying attention to where the puck is going to, not where the puck has been. So just be careful with that.
No, this could go on a tangent, but I mean, look at Cracker Barrel. They try to appeal to a younger audience in it, but their motives were correct.
That's right.
The process was bad, right? They went too far and it wasn't a slow progression where they lost just everybody and they lost the core of what they were doing and just but they knew they had to appeal to a younger audience, right? If you're trying to appeal to the clowny, like Pukey the clown, right? All those type of people. Well, they're all in their 40s and getting close to their 50s now. Like they're probably not looking for that hardcore CrossFit anymore. So, and Tommy, I'm trying to think of a way to like best just wrap this up. But like, I think, guys, the truth of the matter is at Lasso, we're all for mentor companies. Like, and we believe like and I'll just say it, I believe Stu is one of the most factual, data-driven, shoot you straight. And I think for the most part, I mean, there might be things he disagrees with us, but for the most part, he would agree with the things that we're saying. But there are too many people giving I wouldn't even say it's blanket advice, just not data-driven advice, and gym owners believing this is the way out and still struggling every day. And if it didn't work, why? And this is just a simple question to think of. If marketing doesn't work, why does Orange Theory, all of the big franchises, F45, the Yard, when they come to your area, and if you're in an urban area, they will, and they'll spend $12,000 and get 150 to 200 members opening day, because we've seen it and we've helped franchises do it, and you're going to lose a lot of people, and this is my biggest worry. Then they're going to be like, gym owners will be like, I wish I would have marketed back then, and you're already behind the curve. Right. And they're stuck. Too many gym owners get on calls with us. Like, for the last 6 months to a year, my revenue hasn't grown. And that's just, I mean, dude, like, us at Lasso, if our revenue hasn't grown in 2 months, we're freaking out. Like, what do we need to do? What do we need to change? We need to like evolve. We need to do something different. And don't get stuck in these blanketed things from mentor companies. And like, we're here to shoot you straight. Like I said, if you're doing under 10K, we're probably not the best fit for you. Like, you just need to grind and hustle. And yeah, you do need to work on your churn. Yeah, you need to work long hours. Like, that's part of being a business owner. Like, we get on calls and some business owners just want to hire everybody day one. You're like, dude, you're not, you got to put in the work first. What else would you like to add, man?
Yeah, the last thoughts I have is just like, look, guys, like Blake and I grew up in this community as well, and feelings can get, we feel strongly and we're passionate about the work that we do. And I think sometimes that gets into an unhealthy, almost dogmatic understanding of what's best for our gyms. Like, it's easy to say, hey, if we just keep banging the drum of CrossFit is cool, CrossFit is hard, let's do this, that we're going to win, and we just need better coaching because that's what worked 8 to 10 years ago. Like, I get why we have strong beliefs about those things. The problem that I'm seeing is there's no data to back up that that's a reliable way to keep growing your business if that's what you need to do in your business. If you're at 125 members and you're happy because you like being an owner operator, nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you get there and you need to go further and you're frustrated, that's where Blake and I are coming in saying, hey, that advice that you've been kind of building your business on isn't enough to keep you moving in the direction that you need to go. So if this ever gets to the guys over at Best Hour or even the leadership team at Two Brain, guys, this is an open invite to have an open dialogue about this, because we're all trying to do the right thing by gym owners to give them great, solid advice to help them grow their gyms. Blake and I understand that Alex Hormozy and the 6-week challenge and all that stuff, if you've run paid ads in the past, I can understand why there's a bad taste in your mouth. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater just because that's been your experience in the past. There's reasons why this works for the top performing gyms. And I want us to just be very clear so we can do right by all of our clients and gym owners who are doing some of the best work that we can do in terms of helping people get to a place of health, right, and fitness. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll add is I feel like a lot of gym owners, they grew up where we did, not grew up, but like we're in CrossFit when we did, of like being all about CrossFit, all about kipping pull-ups, all these things. So mentor companies play on that of just like, oh, let's get your free cert, because it gets the people in that are like that and they're stuck on it, right? And I told you guys, hey, credit to you guys. That's a great offer because you got in the people that are all about CrossFit and drink the Kool-Aid. But at the end of the day, the Kool-Aid keeps you when Kool-Aid's not cool anymore. So it keeps you back in the Kool-Aid phase, but it doesn't help you evolve to where actually fitness is going now.
Yeah, Blake, I mean, more directly, Best Hour has a pay-to-play relationship with CrossFit to pay for affiliate dues, pay for your L1. The problem I have with that is there's an incentive for them to send you in that direction where that direction may not necessarily be the lever you need to pull or the problem you actually have. That's where I have an issue with pay to play sometimes. Is if Blake and I had a pay to play relationship with, I don't know, Blake, like make something up. I just like whatever. And we're like, well, Blake and I are going to get paid as long as we send you in that direction every single time, guys. It's just human nature to do that. Not to say that like these things are bad. All I'm saying is like, yes, it's easy to get like, this is the direction you need to go because that's the quickest way for me to validate the advice that I'm going to give you. Yeah. Whereas like what I'm saying is like, that might be a conflict of interest that doesn't necessarily work for your best interest. That's all I want to say specifically. Yeah.
Yeah. And here's the thing, guys, like if you're listening to this and you're like, hey man, if you disagree with us, cool, whatever, you can disagree with us. And if you've gotten to the point, and here's the thing, there are unicorns out there that have grown organically. There are. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, we have, I'll just mention it, Sean Tiemann from Hoosier CrossFit. The dude has grown organically to what, 25 on his own? And then all of a sudden now he's implemented. So yeah, you could say that like we've grown to X and we're successful. Great. Sean was successful. He is up 50% compared to last year this time from running paid marketing. So you could be more successful, but I'm not saying there aren't outliers, right? There are still outliers, but we're talking to the 95%. So if you're listening to this and is that you're like, hey guys, like you're on point, I'm struggling. Like we're here just to be honest and frank with you if we can help you. If we can, we'll send you in the direction.
And we're not going to give you advice based on outliers. We're going to give you advice based on what has been reliably shown across a large data set, right? We could all pick our best client and be like, this is what happens every single time. What I've noticed with the people who have grown organically to pretty considerable sizes without paid ads, they've been in the market for over a decade. They were super consistent. They were the first one. There was no disruption in terms of having to move locations. Like that's the common thread, which is like, cool, guys, we don't have that on our site. So if I'm giving you advice now, I can't say, well, let's go back in time a decade, be first to market. It just doesn't exist, right? So just keep that in mind too.
Yeah. So again, guys, if you like this, I think this will be one that probably is shared. Good reasons, bad reasons, I don't know. But here's the thing, guys. We try to just give you all the truth on this episode. We're not here to lean you one way or the direction. And I'll say this blanketly, like, the best clients come to us from Two Brain. because
Correct.
they built their system. So we are not against mentorships. We are, when people come to us from Two Brain, and we say that like Two Brain is great for people trying to get to 100 to 150 clients, but once they get there, they feel stuck. And if you feel stuck and your revenue isn't growing, reach out to us. We'd love to help you. Or, go to our website, and there's, you can click on like the daily growth, where we just give 1 minute, like literally YouTube videos every single day delivered to your inbox. So, or your phone, whatever you want to call it. And so hope you guys enjoyed this. Tommy, any last thoughts?
No, sir. That was good.
All right, guys. Well, hopefully it didn't ruffle too many feathers. Hopefully Pod Tested doesn't get canceled. We'll chat with you guys soon.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast with Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks. We hope you enjoyed. We believe marketing should increase revenue and not waste money. So book your free call today. Head on over to lassoframework.com. That's lassoframework.com and find the right words, get more customers, and increase your revenue. We'll see you here next time.